friends, welcome back to the Maple Leaf Barn. Today we are going to start some perennial seeds. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hi, I am Libby and we have a flower farm in Southwest Ohio. And right now it is currently 22 degrees outside. So we are very chilly here right now. It is the week before Easter 2024. So it's mid to late March and we are getting started on lots of seed starting, but we're also just doing lots of those tedious tasks, including going outside and covering our ranunculus and opening them up during the day and all those types of things. So if that's of any interest to you, we would love to have you join our YouTube channel and just hang out with us as we're building our flower farm and just having fun out in the garden. One way to really project your business or your garden or cut flower farm into the future is to plant perennials. And instead of going to the nursery and spending $12 to $15 per maybe gallon-sized perennial, I decided this year I just want to plant a bunch of my own, and I'm going to start them from seed and then just baby them all the way through all their different stages and then get them out into the garden. They are maybe a little bit more tricky to start than your average cut flower. So I'm going to go through some of the typical things that it says on the seed packet and then a couple tips that I have found from other growers that you might find helpful too when starting your perennials. In this video, I'm going to be specifically talking about Echinacea, or coneflower is the common term, and then a Rudbeckia. So in our zone, coneflowers or Echinacea and Rudbeckia are both perennial flowers, and they turn into these beautiful plants that are great for pollinators and people. And so they make fun additions to any landscape, but they also are great cut flowers. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get into it. So I'm going to start off talking about the Echinacea. And this variety is, I'm probably not going to say this right, the Echinacea purpurea. It's something that just made me think, oh, this will totally pop in the landscape and it'll look so good in cut flower bouquets. So this is a huge packet. This is the ½ ounce packet of Echinacea from Johnny's. So they say that it's a perennial in zones 3 to 10. So really, who doesn't fall in those? I mean, maybe if you live in like Siberia or someplace even more cold, I don't know. But pretty much anywhere Echinacea can grow. So the seeds do require light to germinate. They do need to be pre-chilled. So I actually just took both of these seed packets out of my mini fridge that's down in our office down here, and they have been in there for a couple of weeks. And that's highly recommended. And it also recommends that you use a 2.5-inch deep container when planting. That way the roots have enough space to really grow. I'm not super concerned about that because I'm going to plant everything in this 72 cell tray. If I notice that things need more space and their roots are starting to get bound, I'll pop them up into a larger container. We just need the space, and so I'm doing 72 cells. It is a perennial, so you do want to get it nice and robust and have lots of root development. It also says place trays outside in late fall or early spring, and that way they can experience the cold evening temperatures. I think obviously if it's below 30, it's going to be too cold, but the perfect time would be if it's 40s and 50s. So it's really not recommended to sow them in the middle of summer, you know, so this is a great time. Mid-March, pretty much anywhere is such a great time to get started. Okay, the next thing that we're going to start is the Rudbeckia. So in the past, I have tried Rudbeckia and I didn't love it, and I think it's just the variety that I got I didn't love, but this variety is highly recommended. And if you follow the Gardener's Workshop at all, she recommends this. And so I'm going to try it out, and hopefully it's amazing because she says it's wonderful. It's the triloba, And I'll put another picture up here for you to look at. It gets huge. So I grabbed the 500 seed count packet. This has a 99% germination rate. It should be pretty good. It does say that it's a short-lived perennial, so it might be kind of like yarrow, where you have to sow new ones every couple years. The trick with this is that it recommends that you pre-chill the seed packets for 30 days. So it's definitely not something that you just want to haphazardly think about. If you're going to watch this video and then you want to hurry up and sow the seeds, it's probably not going to work too well. So you should just wait, throw it in the fridge, wait a couple weeks, and then take it out and sow the seeds. You'll probably have a better germination rate that way. So it also doesn't want to be covered by any soil. It says cover lightly. What I have found is that you still just don't want to cover it with soil. Maybe a light layer of vermiculite, that pretty much does the trick of what I have seen. You just want to make sure that the seed is in contact with the soil. I have not actually put together a very strict, detailed farm plan for this year. I know it's March, but I just haven't done that yet. I know it's driving my husband crazy. I'll get around to it. That's no way to run a business. Don't take that as advice. My soil is pretty damp already, and it's actually pretty cold because our basement is pretty cold and it's been chilly. So I think what I'll do is probably just put these under the lights, because I think they've been chilled enough. And again, these are going to get potted up into larger containers, so I'm not really worried about how much soil is really in here. I just want it to be kind of flat for them and nice and, I don't want to say compact, but definitely together. We're just going to go ahead and place one or two in each cell. I have found that my luck with starting lavender has just not been very successful. I have a really hard time starting lavender. I'm curious if anyone else has also struggled, particularly with lavender. I have a great nursery in town where I'm at. It's called Natorps, and I really adore them, and I have several friends that work there. So I think I'm just resigned to buying my perennials from Natorps, that particular nursery, to help my supply, and in particular lavender. But I'm pretty confident that I can get these to germinate and have success. I don't really know what it is. Do you guys have any tips on growing lavender? Has anything in particular worked for you? Because it seems like every time I try my lavender, I might just get like maybe 6 plants, and I will have, sowed like 30 or something. I don't know. But have you ever started a bunch of seeds and then thought, what is this? I don't know, because maybe I've never started digitalis before, so I don't know what those seedlings look like, because it's not always what the adult plant looks like. Okay, right. I'm gonna label. Oh my god. Okay, to be fair, I'm also doing this at like 11 o'clock at night because that's the only time I have. Everyone is asleep. And I tell you, if you wonder why I don't have a farm plan, it's because I have almost no time to sit in front of pen and paper, because people are always stealing my paper or my pen or my computer. Okay, Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia. These are amazing. I will link them. These are my go-to. And I usually plant, I I usually don't label the first row because that obviously there's nothing here. So I always label the last one, so I know where that variety ends. Okay, I mean, you know what a coneflower looks like. So all their seeds are very exposed, and so they're nice and big. Good for the birds, I guess. They can help sow the seeds everywhere. The Rudbeckia gets much bigger. Obviously, it turns into a really big, unruly kind of large thing. Honestly, it's gonna, I think, look a lot like my mahogany hibiscus. That plant just got huge. I mean, I only planted 4 and they turned into these massive, massive plants. And actually, I'm kind of curious if they would be, if I could perennialize them. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But anyways, the coneflower here is much smaller of a plant. So I don't know. I feel like I could use a lot more of the coneflower because I think what I'll do is I'll have some in the back, but I'll primarily scatter them through my actual home landscape. That way I get to enjoy them, and whoever lives at my house after me one day will get to enjoy them. And so we're probably going to plant more than what we did with the Rudbeckia. I also think these would be just really fun to have as Mother's Day gifts. You know, if you have friends who want to celebrate Mother's Day, these would be a fun thing to grow for their home gardens. When you're thinking about your cut flower garden and your landscape, just think about how you can plant things that are perennials that will also benefit pollinators. So, you know, you could plant a bunch of boxwood or, you know, some kind of green interest, which I understand there's a need for that in a landscape. But, you know, that's not going to really do much for the pollinators during the growing season. It will help, you know, birds and things like that, because they can find comfort and build homes in bushes that are mostly just winter interests. But, you know, think about growing perennials that are incredibly friendly for bees and all the butterflies and stuff like that. So I think this is all I'm going to do. That's probably enough. Echinacea is such a good, wholesome herb and plant for yourself. If you were to, you know, put it in and like steam it and do all the things to make a tea, Echinacea is so great for sore throats or just boosting your immunity. If you ever go to the store and you pick up some throat coat tea or just a tea that's really good for your throat when you're not feeling good, it's usually filled with Echinacea. You get to grow it from seed, and it helps all of the pollinators. And then if you were to need it for your own benefit, you could harvest it and use it in that way as well. Since we're talking about lavender, let me show you the pitifully small amount of lavender that I have, but it does look really good. So let me show you. Okay, here is my lavender. One of them is actually not looking very good. I don't know what's wrong with its leaves. It looks like it has burnt leaves, but it's not under the light super close, so I don't know. But it is cute and it smells good. And then I have a ton of eucalyptus growing. Here is just 6 cells of eucalyptus, and those are looking really good too. Okay, so next I'm just going to spritz all of our new seeds and then bring it back out into our grow room under lights and get it going. I'll be sure to give you a little update on how they're doing. In the meantime, I hope you catch our next video and enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.